I'm not sure how, but somehow they're still coming up with new baseball stats. Have you ever wondered which pitchers actually get the biggest whiffs? About what it actually means when we say a hitter's timing is off? Or if a batter is getting tied up or flailing? Well, if you have, now you can know. And if you haven't, I guess you can know too, because Baseball Savant and Statcast recently released new bat tracking data in the form of swing and miss timing and swing and miss distance. Alrighty, when we open up the leaderboard, obviously the first thing we see here highlighted in bright red is that Mason Miller's slider misses bats by an average of 10.6 inches when he gets a swing and miss, which is more than any other pitch in baseball. And we can be honest here, you probably did not need new metrics to tell you that Mason Miller's slider is one of the best pitches in baseball. Like Jesus, hitters have an 0.52 expected batting average against it this season. Where average miss distance actually does help us out is kind of illustrating just how hard it is for hitters to actually get to a pitch. So if I toggle the MLB average here, we can see that on sliders, on almost 20,000 swings, hitters swing and miss at sliders on an average of about 4.5 inches, which is plenty, don't get me wrong, but Mason Miller's slider misses by an average of 10.6 inches, which to be honest is kind of greedy and probably makes other pitchers feel bad about their own sliders. But they shouldn't feel too bad because on the whole, breaking balls dominate when it comes to getting bigger whiffs. Aside from forkballs getting the top spot, almost entirely due to small sample size, as we can see, only 99 swings against them this season. Breaking balls, these are your sweepers, your slurves, your curveballs, your sliders. They absolutely dominate when it comes to getting the biggest whiffs. 23 of the top 24 pitches that rack up the largest average swing and miss distance are in fact breaking balls, with the only exception here being Fernando Cruz's devastating splitter, which misses bats by almost 8 inches. But aside from that, we can see here the next biggest non-breaking pitch is Trey Savage's slider at the 25th biggest. And Cruz obviously knows that he has a pretty impressive weapon on his hands. He throws that splitter 51% of the time here, which is really high. Honestly, would be pretty high even if it was a fastball in today's day and age. And if we look at the expected batting average against that pitch, we can see, just 111 here in 2026. And if we flip this leaderboard upside down here, we can now see the individual pitches that have the lowest average miss distance. These are the pitches that when they actually miss bats, they miss by the least. We can see that on the rare occasion that Tomoyuki Suganu actually does miss a bat with his sinker, it misses by just 0.1 inches. Same deal with Max Meyer in his sinker here. You'd probably guess that Sugano's sinker gets absolutely shelled, and if we look at the expected batting average against it here in 2026, it's 407. You'd be 100% correct. But does any of this actually really matter, or is it kind of just fun to look at? Because on paper, a swinging strike is a strike regardless of how far it misses the bat by. It only counts once. It's not like if you miss by more than a foot, the umpire is going to count a second strike against you. Or if you miss by less than an inch, you get a retry. But there is a real correlation between average miss distance and results. Just surface level, as we know, breaking balls have the biggest miss distance, followed by off-speed pitches, mostly splitters and changeups, and then fastballs, which miss bats by an average of 1.3 inches. If we sort the three pitch groups by expected batting average and expected slugging, we see the exact same order. Expected results are much higher against fastball variants and the lowest against breaking balls. Mike Petriello wrote a great article for MLB.com, which you can find linked below. He provided a ton of context and great information on how we can use the new metrics and provided examples contextualizing all of the new data. In the article, he goes through an exercise isolating sliders by average miss distance, and he finds that sliders that miss bats by more perform better overall than sliders that miss by less. I really would encourage you to give Petriello's article a read. One of the most fun things he had laid out is the individual pitches with the all-time biggest whiffs. We only have access to the data as far back as mid-2023, but in that time frame, the largest distance on a whiff belongs to a classic Clayton Kershaw curveball from June of 2025, when he got Ronnie Mauricio to miss by 57.5 inches, almost 5 whole feet. Another big part of all the new data is that we now have access to see if a swing goes over a pitch like hitters do on 57% of Chase Burns sliders, or if they're swinging under it like on 67% of Devin Williams fastballs. The flip side of this is getting the ball lined up vertically, which Nico Horner manages to do on 85% of his swings. We can also see if a pitcher ties up a hitter with a pitch on his hands like Rays reliever Jesse Schultens does with 45% of his sinkers. Or if a pitcher gets a hitter to flail at a pitch too far away from him like Andrew Abbott does on 71% of his changeups. If a hitter doesn't get tied up or flail, he's considered centered. Luis Arias has been centered on 80% of his swings so far in 2026. Okay, so we've accounted for the horizontal side of things with tie-ups and flails, and the vertical side of things with over and under. But my favorite aspect of the new data is the timing aspect. Is a hitter early or is he late? Obviously, we'd assume that the pitchers with the big 100-mile-an-hour fastballs induce the highest percentage of late swings. And there are definitely some big fastballs at the top of the list. Johan Duran, Louis Varland, Cade Smith, and Dylan Cease's four-seamers all get better than 40% late swing percentages. And you don't have to look too far down the list to find Mason Miller and Jacob Mizorowski's 100-mile-an-hour heaters that induce late swings 34 and 36% of the time, respectively. But you are going to be shocked when I tell you that it's a pitch that comes in at just 83.1 miles an hour that absolutely dominates the list when it comes to racking up late swings. Blue Jays reliever Tyler Rogers has hitters late on his sinker 55% of the time. That's 11% higher than Michael King's four-seam fastball, which is in second place. Rogers is a complete outlier when it comes to pretty much everything he does on the mound. We're going to talk about the arm angle in a second, but look at this fastball run value, 98th percentile, 12 fastball run value in 2026 on a pitch that comes in at just 83.1 miles an hour. And as promised, here is the arm angle leaderboards. If we toggle it by the lowest, so the highest in baseball straight savage, the lowest, Tyler Rogers coming in at almost negative 61 degrees, one of only two negative arm angles in baseball. The other is Hobie Milner of the Cubs, but Rogers at minus 61 degrees is like not even in the same stratosphere as Milner at negative 4.3 degrees. We're going to toggle the MLB average here. Righties like Rogers, 37.2 degrees on average. It's not even close. And I think that this is the best visualization. Can you take a guess at which one is Tyler Rogers? Yeah, I bet you could. It's pretty easy. He is by far and away the weirdest arm angle in baseball. And it works because he's very deceptive. There was so much more to this update that I'm not covering here, and to be honest, I haven't even figured everything out myself yet, so go check it out. The Savant leaderboards are free, they're easy to look at, it's a ton of fun, and I'm going to leave you with one more fun statistic that I kind of uncovered when I was looking through this. Flawed swing rate is the percentage of all swings in which the batter whiffs and the bat is not any of lined up, centered, or on time. Obviously, a flawed swing is a great result for a pitcher and kind of the opposite of what a hitter is trying to do. Flawed swings lead literally to 0% contact rate, so hitters hit 0, 0, 0 on them. If you're a hitter, the obvious assumption is that more flawed swings are bad, but that actually may not be the case. I've pulled up the weighted runs created plus leaderboards here, and I want to keep an eye on three names. The first one is going to be Nick Kurtz. He's in the 3 spot here with a 172 weighted runs created plus. Wow, that's really good. And then in the 8 spot, we have Kyle Schwarber, a 156, and 1 spot behind him at 155, Munetaka Murakami of the White Sox. Okay, we're going to switch over really quickly here. This is the flawed swing rate leaderboard. These are the highest flawed swing rates in baseball. And look who it is in the number 1 spot, the worst flawed swing rate in baseball at 17%. Munetaka Murakami himself, 10% worse than league average. And it gets better, as you probably could guess. Here's Kyle Schwarber in the 14th spot with 13%. And just behind him at 12%, look who it is, Nick Kurtz. So these are all 3 top 10 weighted runs created plus hitters in baseball. And they all swing and miss a lot, and not just swing and miss, but have flawed swings. Okay, so obviously I'm not trying to tell you that a flawed swing is a good result, but if it does happen with less than 2 strikes, it's a way better result than putting a ball in play weakly. So we flip this leaderboard upside down here. These are the best flawed swing rates in baseball. Sal Frelick is at 1%, and right behind him is Ke'Bryan Hayes at 1%. These are the lowest flawed swing rates among qualified hitters in baseball, okay? We're going to flip it over to Fangraphs. This is Ke'Bryan Hayes' page. We're going to look at 2026. That's a 10 weighted runs created plus. That's horrendous. He's been worth negative 0.8 WAR for Cincinnati this season. All this kind of illustrates to me is that if you're sacrificing bat speed in the attempt to do damage, to put the bat on the ball and put the ball in play, maybe you shouldn't. And on the pitching side here, you will not be surprised to find out that Mason Miller leads baseball with the highest flawed swing rate at 23%. Because of course he does. I really hope you enjoyed checking this out with me. Had a lot of fun digging through all the new data. If you did, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Check me out on social media and stay tuned for more baseball content coming up soon.